Welcome back to Trekyards, everybody. He is Commander Cockings.
He's careless. Foley.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What have I been saying for years, Samuel?
That you think I'm a great guy.
That is also from an alternate quantum reality. You're correct. Like Disco is its own universe, the Discoverse, because it's so not prime timeline visually.
It wasn't even trying. All the tech.
Yeah. Despite the fact that the people that made it and all of their lackeys can say that it is, in fact, prime timeline, we kind of got confirmation a little bit that it's not.
A new pointer in the evidence chart. You know, you imagine that Mariner string graph thing on the wall. It's like there's a new center point, right? Interesting. So yes, in this last episode of Lower Decks, we had this Klingon storyline, and it was great, simple but great. And we see these new ships, see our video, amazing, and then they go to this anomaly, this universal, multi-universal terrestrial, this big red, horrible
Schrödinger anomaly.
Yes, where waves of energy, without proper protection, change your ship's matter, into another universe. Ziz matter. Confusing as that might be, does it override you? Does it swap you? Conceptually, take it for what it is. And we have this moment, which was entirely unexpected, and this was definitely anything can happen. This is this like pre-tile sequence, right? And we'll look at the comparison in a second. But this happened, a classic, normal Klingon, as they do in Lower Decks, transformed into an unabashedly purple, entirely different Klingon, and even armor. How did you feel while watching this?
I thought, wow, I did not expect that, but it put a smile on my face, and I was like vindicated. It felt like, and I wasn't sure what to expect from the rest of the episode as a result of this, which was great. What did you feel when you saw this?
Ooh, we got something to talk about. It's a very us thing.
When I did my first reaction video as well, somebody called out the fact that this is an alternate reality. This is just older Klingon, part of their past coming back, as with the Klingon barge ship, as with the proto-Klingons. And I'm like, no, just each alternate reality has a different, not only look, but also time scale, because T'Pol's on the ship, on the Anaximander, so it's not necessarily just time, but it's also other quantum realities.
Well, they never once mentioned time travel in the episodes. I felt intrigued. This is something that the creators of Discovery did, possibly knowing it was going to be a huge thing. And then I did this giant thing in Stranger Worlds when they showed Klingons, discover Klingons again in season 2, and also flashback into Discovery, and did not show the Discovery Klingons. And this giant graph of, last time we saw them, and I just went back and looked at it, the graph, Discovery Klingons only existed for 1 year. And then the variant with the hair for 2 years, and then overrode by Lower Decks, as in when we saw Klingons in that show. So all of the years of what we saw, and they haven't appeared in any form since 2020, and that was, again, the haired Klingons. So the classic Discovery Klingons, not since 2018. So what's that, 6 years? This is the first appearance in 6 years, despite how many Star Trek shows, movies, and games? Okay, Star Trek Online, but that was right after. So a massive point has been made to not include them anywhere. Anywhere. So showing them here, and the last episode, not Noah's last episode, but like the last episode is a huge choice. Now, what you can take away from that is up to you, but it was an interesting choice to bring them back in an implicitly alternate context. So it was interesting.
Yes, I mean, people are going to take what they want out of it. It definitely confirms my suspicions. I don't know. It's a different quantum reality. It's that simple.
Well, it's kind of like the Otoy Kirk short, right? It's ambiguous on purpose to the exact nature. So you can take this as literally he shifted into another universe where they're the main Klingons, doesn't affect Discovery, or you can take it into literally he's been changed into the Discovery universe Klingons because that's the only unit, or the local one that has them. And this is a genuine evidence point that we've not seen them since. No tech, no ships, no nothing. And yet both have made this. I mean, that's... And it does show the audience how different, how how when you do a literal transformation, how unrecognizable they are. Because in this graphic, there is nothing the same.
Yeah.
That's how different they are. Well, next shot, the close-up. That said, really well-realised version of Discovery Klingon. Like, very accurate. I mean, looks great for what it's worth. But it's it ain't no Klingon.
Mm-hmm. And it also, I know we're going to talk about this, but it also applied to the ship as well, as you saw. So, interesting choice.
Yeah. At least it confirms that they are in another universe. I wonder. I guess you can't argue that. I mean, every universe is every variation, right? But you can't argue that those universes are only showing stuff we don't have, because when the Cerritos transforms, it becomes an Oberth, a galaxy, so it does not preclude them from being in our universe. It's just, again, it's more of a creative choice. But just to remind yourselves, this is what the Klingons in Discovery look like. I picked a nice broad subset, unrecognizable in every form, although great alien design.
It is, yeah.
Although in that dark light, I did have to brighten it, of course I do tend to. In the dark lighting, it's like, oh. And I mean, it was very hard for the actors to act in, so it was inferior in terms of that. And I imagine walking around in this armour, and it was a real choice, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. And as for the armour, I mean, we've talked about this before, but I have no problem with it being special ceremonial armour.
Yeah.
Instead of the standard armour, but...
It wasn't.
Yeah.
So, because they wear it later in various forms. Boy, so much money we watch on screen that got just thrown away because none of this was ever used again. Imagine the bill. CBS is like, this cost you $2.5 million, and how many times you use it? 6 times.
Thanks, Brian Fuller.
Brian Fuller. Next shot, though, comparing these two. Mostly the armor in this shot, but didn't get the red tips, but that's okay. It's not this guy.
Well, exactly. He's special. We did see armor very, very, very similar to the animated one there as well, so... 'Tis all good, you see.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a few variants. This is just some guy, though. So just in the early episode, try to pick a bright lit version, kind of mid-shot. But hey, very faithful. Although, boy, in the Discovery version, the real version, I should say, at least the neck pieces are flat. But boy, in this version, they're going to stab you. God, even more. As this guy is not a Discovery Klingon, and he's our version converted, he'll just turn and stab himself. He's not used to his armor. That is a recipe for disaster ship.
Well, he doesn't last long, because the ship, like I said, the ship gets changed and then crashes into another ship, so they get blowed up real quick.
Yeah. Speaking of, though, next shot is a great comparison of the exact physiology, then, of that's L'Rell, specifically, who, I felt like we're channeling a little bit of L'Rell in this purple guy.
Yeah, the purple coloring was quite interesting choice. Not all the Klingons were, of course, purple, but...
Lots of different colours, yeah.
Yeah, but it definitely sent a message of, like, this is what we're going for, so you guys can't be confused. Because I'm sure if it was just a regular Klingon color, people would argue that it's not a Discovery Klingon. This just absolutely solidified the fact that, yep, it's different.
Well, that's the thing. Same with the ship, right? The fact they went to the 10 out of 10 commitment is, again, another canon point of that. They're telling us very explicitly they shifted to another universe. Obviously have things like Prodigy, which included the Discovery as an art design in season 1, so that's a reverse point. Unfortunately, there's a spectrum of arguments, throughout. But this is definitely, every credit that comes in gets to change as they will, unfortunately. Look at Stranger Worlds, the Gorn, right? Entirely unjustified universe change that makes no sense and you can't really justify. But then suddenly, if Lower Deck shows a Gorn after that, it's like, well, there's a Gorn, the classic Gorn, because... So, if a creator in 10 years says, screw all the Gene Roddenberry Trek I'm only doing Discovery, that'll be the one, right? So it's kind of... So, in his last hurrah, he did this. The ship, though, next shot, very distinct, and we just looked at this in a Trekyards Live. I'll be honest, I was happy to see it, but more just because, rather than necessarily the design itself. How did you feel when the thing transformed into...
Like I said, I had a smile on my face, and I'm like, oh, yeah. And then it flies into another ship and just explodes. And I was like, that's kind of symbolic. Are you trying to send some kind of message there? I don't know. Yeah, and the fact they got it so close as well, like, not just similar shapes, but, like, the detail is impressive. So I was happy.
It makes sense they would just be given a 3D model from the show, because to build this for this one gag seems silly. The Star Trek Online model exists, the Adversities model exists. Why would you build it for custom, right? But let's compare. This is the Adversaries model that I freshly converted into a better render engine to kind of get the texturing better. Pretty close, I got the angle, I think. And that is a very, very good replica.
It's damn good, yeah. Like I was saying, I mean, just the accuracy of it. I could tell it was accurate because I do have the Eagle Moss one. And don't get me wrong, I am super impressed with the design of these Klingon ships from Discovery. They're very intricate and very cool, but they don't say Klingon. So when I first saw it, I'm like, that's really close. And now seeing this comparison, it's like, yeah, it absolutely is. So
it's still simplified to be a cartoon, of course, but for a 1.9 second gag, 2.5 second gag. Yeah, it was a, I said in our pre-chat, it's definitely a cherry on top kind of moment, an additive. It was like, you didn't have to do that. Bit of fun, gets destroyed, and I would have been fine, as you said in this chat. It would have been super interesting, and I was kind of expecting then that these Klingons would be half in Discovery, half not, and so we get to fight the Discovery Klingons and the main Klingons. Would have been absolutely crazy. And if you were going full kill, you could have one bird of prey be from JJ, one bird of prey be from Discovery, and then our classic one. Would have been an absolutely insane way of doing the final fight. That this one scene would let you do it, this one concept would let you do it without any issue at all, would have been astounding. I would have been like, huh, right, cool, we're doing it. Didn't have to, didn't always do that, but it would have been very cool.
Yeah. And I was kind of expecting the same. I was expecting them to have a few mixes during the course of the episode, but yeah, it's just very quickly. A small little, nod, this is what we wanted to do. This is our last episode.
Mm-hmm.
Here you go. Take from it what you will.
We did the thing. And here you go. It's crazy. And we'll see how other people react. Because I got, I'm sure this was many people I would. This is one of those things like the Enterprise D showed up in Picard and people recorded their reviews. I'd love to see how many faces happened when they saw Discovery Klingon reappear. What impression that gave people. That'd have been a fun thing to see. Because again, first time since 2018 of the classic original. It's a long time when we think about it. Long time. But there you go. Full points for recreating both. Great moment. Lots to consider and talk about. And have they officially given a new canon point? Yes. Is it the one we think about? Who knows? Decide in the chat.
That's what the comments are for. You can also join us for lives as well, by the way. Just so you can talk about this kind of stuff with us in person. Well, not in person, but you know what I mean, in real time. And we encourage that. So by all means, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and also like on this video would be greatly appreciated. And yeah, like I said, come join us for other videos, and we will get to know you guys, because we love you guys.
And if you want to support us, what we do here, all the weeks of the year for the last 10 years, and you can via Patreon. It is monthly, and any amount does make a difference in that realm. Or join the channel on YouTube, also monthly, also helps, also thank you, or one-time help via PayPal, trekyards@hotmail.com, or super chat on any of our lives that we do. Also with thanks. So if you like our coverage of Discovery, super thanks. And if you like the fact that Discovery has now been destroyed, also super thanks.
All the things he said.
Yes.
Anyway. Until we see you next time in this quantum reality or another, he is Commander Calkins.
He's got a Foley.
Bye,
Bye, guys.